and good morning. Um, so, another another morning walk, and as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my so-called political compass, and well, because I did some online tests, which the results were maybe not that interesting, but the tests themselves I feel was very interesting, and I'll explain. First of all, it's well, good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to ask you about the sound. I am trying to figure out what kind of equipment to use. Look at this, beautiful morning. I'm trying to figure out what kind of equipment to use, and if this would work if you're only listening, because I know some of you are only listening. For instance, I know some of you are typically in your car, maybe driving to work, or maybe your work involves a lot of driving and you're listening to podcasts and so on. And I was wondering if these talks could be, you know, if the sound quality is good enough for to call it a podcast. I have changed, as you might have noticed, the name of this channel. This channel it's a temporary thing, because well, it's a bit hard to explain actually, and I won't get into details, but it has to do with the URL that I'm reserving for this channel. So they will after I get the URL, I will probably change the name to the final name for this channel. Okay, so you're telling me the sound is good. Okay, that's good to hear. I want the equipment to be simple, lightweight. You're telling me the sound is good and clear. That's great, because I'm actually using my cell phone. I know the image quality isn't the best, but maybe that's not so important on this channel, on these videos. So, okay, again, good morning to all of you who are joining this live stream. Also, why am I doing live streams? Mainly because it saves a lot of time, to be honest with you. It saves a lot of time. If I were to edit these videos, we're talking hours. But also it's very nice, of course, that we can interact and chat. However, I am walking. AJC, I'm on my cell phone too. Yeah. I don't see all the messages because I am walking in the woods, so I need to keep an eye on the ground from time to time. Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so yeah, let me get straight to the point. My political compass. You know, we can take these tests online, and I've always felt that, well, if it's, for instance, a left-leaning newspaper, online newspaper, offering that test, it will kind of do so that you end up on the left, so that you will vote to the left in the upcoming election. We have an upcoming election here in Norway, and I don't know if my suspicion is based on reality or not, but what I did was I took one of those tests, and the funny thing is that I end up either somewhat on the right or a centrist, sometimes even to the left of center a little bit, but it all depends on which topics they focus on in that test, you know. So I know that when it comes to some topics, some issues, I'm very much on the left, and on some other topics I'm very much on the right. So I don't really feel like I belong to one of the sides of that scale, and I don't even think there's much sense in using that left-right scale anymore. So if you ask me if I'm, you know, are you a conservative? Well, I like the word. We should conserve what's good and what's sensible. I don't know what to answer, really. I don't know. So, so I don't know. It's very hard. I don't know. Still, the election is just a few days away now here in Norway, and I don't know which party to vote for. I don't. It's difficult because I don't really agree with any of those parties. But here's the thing: I did a test for children, political compass test for children. You know, children, they tend to, if they could vote, they would vote to the left, basically. That's what, you know, they tend to think that they tend to focus on social issues and what needs to be done and so on, but they don't pay any taxes, you know. So my kids did one of those tests, and they ended up on the left on that scale, which I find odd because I know they are not, you know, we have been having discussions and so on. They're very intelligent children. Sorry, my daughter isn't a child. Youth. They are both very soon, both teenage in their teenagers. But anyway, so I found that odd. Why would they end up on the left? You know. So I did a test, and I ended up on the left as well. You know, it's makes you think. But then when I looked at the questions there, they were all about social issues, the environment, and things like that. No questions, well, I think except one about financial economy, taxes. Basically, that test focused on what do you want the grown-ups to do, and it didn't focus on who's going to pay for it. I mean, it's very easy to say, I think we should all live in a more environmentally friendly way, but you still want your dad to drive you to, you know, your activities, you know, sports and stuff. You know, it's hmm, yeah. I would like to answer that to that comment. I don't think I'm socially liberal at all. I know I'm not, because I'm very conservative when it comes to a lot of issues. I won't get into those now. I mean, then we just start arguing, and I don't want that. I'm just saying that it's a bit confusing, and I also think that we should talk more and shout less at each other. You know, try to be sensible and so on. I find actually I agree with Christian conservatives on a lot of issues, but I'm not a Christian, so it's all very confusing. So we have a school strike coming up, so the kids will be taking half a day or something like that off from school for the environment. And yeah, the parents will be picking them up after that, driving them back home, you know. So I'm not trying to mock the younger generation, but it's a bit ironic. So yeah, one other thing about you know, it's the social issues again. I'm a Norwegian, so I know a lot of you who are listening now, you live in North America, and if you're centrist or how should I put it? I find that on many topics, many issues, the USA is a lot more extreme left, extreme so-called liberal than we are here in Norway. So yeah, it's it worries me when I look at things in the USA, especially. Some of those things are very extreme in my opinion. It's yeah, it worries me. So okay, now let's see if I can find another path, because it's I'm looking forward to you know, in a few days they will cut the, you know, what you call it, the not cut, but you know, they will process this the oat, and you can walk on the field, and it makes it much easier to get into the woods from here. So okay, just to hold on, I am still working on concept of talking while I'm walking. You know, I have to do two things at once. It's not easy. Yeah, well, just let me finish that part about politics with saying that I want to say that it's I view myself as very much, my method of thinking when it comes to politics is centrist, and I feel a bit sad, because my opinion is that sensible people should get together and find solutions, and that's very much a centrist method. And as I said, I usually end up anyway as a centrist on those political compass tests, but and also libertarian, which I find also very odd, because I'm not really, I'm not of the opinion that people should be allowed to do what they want. But anyway, basically the centrist method, I like that method. It's we should come together, talk, find solutions as grown-ups, as sensible people. And I think if you shout at people and if you call them names, you disqualify yourself. You know, there are lots of people I would like to shout at and call names, but I don't. And it's not out of respect for those people, it's out of respect for myself. I don't want to behave like that, so I don't. Okay. And I mean, it's the perfect example is the current president in the USA. And I think, well, I mean, you don't have to like him or dislike him to understand that he's responding to, he's responding. So if you want him to, here's a little spider again, I think. Is it? No, spider web. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So when you end up with situations like that, you know it's not good. It's just stupid, you know. So we need more of the centrist method. Yeah. I am again. I am going for a walk, and I want to thank all of you. I'm not finishing this live stream right now, but I just wanted to thank you for being here. I've gone through some rough days, and it's been awesome to have this second channel where I can vent, as they say. I've finished my novel. I still have, you know, like one. I'll look at the pages one more time before they are printed. And well, thank you. Hi there, Kevin. Yeah, this live stream is it's an early one. But also, on top of that, our dog seems to get sick, and our dog is very old. She will be, well, we don't know her age because it's a rescue dog, but she's probably 14 years old now. Well, she's at least 14 years old. That's the minimum. And she got sick. And I was worried. She's a cancer survivor, 2 times cancer survivor. And then she got better. And we did we did everything. And she got better. And now she's quite feeling well, and we're doing our walks and so on. And we went to the veterinarian, of course, and they took their tests, and the tests turned out fine. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. So good days. These are good days. So a few rough days. That was a few rough days. Hold on. Yeah, I am also, believe it or not, getting some assistance from a personal trainer. Don't laugh. I'm a personal trainer myself. I haven't worked as a personal trainer, but what kind is my dog? It's a Spanish Galgo. It's a, if you know, it's a not a common breed, but it's, if you think of Saluki with short fur, that's they look like that. Yeah, I'm getting some assistance from a personal trainer, actually, because I want to get motivated to train my cardiovascular fitness, and also to get my diet kick-started again, because it's been terrible for a few months now, which means I've lost some weight, which I don't like, and yeah, so sometimes we all need some help to get back on the right path again. Yeah, what kind of cancer? Well, it's I don't remember the name right now, but it's yeah, she is doing well, thank you. I do understand that she can't live forever, but at the moment she is doing very well. And the reason she's not here with me is because, and in most of my videos she is not with me, it's because she is very much a hunting dog, and it's a bit, and she doesn't like to, you know, sit still, so she likes to walk and not sit still. So she get restless when I stop. What was that? Oh, a squirrel above me. Not a spider, hold on. The squirrels, they can be aggressive, you know. They will shout at you. So I can understand that I'm disturbing them in whatever they're doing this morning. Okay, yeah, also I did my workout at the local powerlifting gym yesterday, and I haven't been there for many years. It wasn't very nice there 10 years ago. When I was there, it wasn't very nice, so I quit, started training another place, and I also have my home gym with all the necessary weights and equipment. But it's nice to have people around you, you know, and so I went there, and it was a bit, I was a bit, not nervous, but you know, 10 years ago I was in my prime as a lifter, you know, at one of the best lifters in Norway, actually, and I competed internationally Uh, so going there now, 10 kilos lighter. You know, but it's I worried for no reason because it was. We all get older. We all have, you know, duties. For me, of course, I feel it's much more important to drive my kids to their activities and follow up on that and all that than focusing on my own sports activities. So, okay, I'll sit down now. No, that didn't work. Hold on. But the guys were very welcoming, and it was very nice there now. Very nice, absolutely. So I'll do some of my workouts there, and hopefully I can get my body weight up again. Well, thank you. Where did I learn such good English? I don't know if my English is very good. I sometimes I have to think a little bit before I find the right word, and sometimes I say the wrong words. But thank you. Yeah, so that was nice. It's nice to have somewhere to go, and no cell phone connection because it's inside a mountain. Yeah. I'm a little bit okay. The comments now, I don't know. I don't know what they are about. I'm not up to date on every topic. Is this? Now let's see. 4K a month for nothing. Oh, you speak better English than most of the illegal Latinos that's been in America for 20 years. I won't get into that debate there. I simply because I feel I don't know enough about that issue. I prefer not to have strong opinions on topics, on issues that I haven't. I feel I don't know enough about, you know. So so it's yeah, but I would like to say this. I was in Los Angeles. Yeah, Amon Amart is great. That's it's great. I worked with Johan Hegg actually in an episode of The Booze Traveler when they went to Sweden and they tasted mead. So he's a very nice guy. Yeah, I've been to New York twice, and I've been to Los Angeles, and I've driven up north in California. So it was very difficult to understand people in the stores when I was buying buying a burger. It was difficult because their English was usually very broken. I know I speak with an accent, but they were just the words were. It was nothing. It didn't sound like English at all. So and they looked like Latinos, and their English was not good. Not saying they were necessarily bad people, but you know, I don't know, look at that brown bear behind you. Well, sadly, there aren't that many bears in Norway. Um, so now I have to look behind me. Just kidding. Yeah, I went there and you know, I didn't like. But by the way, I didn't like Los Angeles at all. I think it was shocking to see how unclean it was. This was 4 years ago, maybe. No, 5 years ago, something like that. So it was shocking to see all the filth floating around in the streets. It was shocking to see the people in the streets, the crazy people. Um, Now, I'm not an expert on this, but to me it looked like people, like if I had seen someone like that here in Norway, I would have thought, well, that's someone who, you know, like a drug addict, and why, you know, we don't leave them in the streets like that, you know. It's and they were just walking around shouting and behaving crazy, and the filth, I couldn't believe it. The streets, I mean, Hollywood was the worst actually. It was, the smell was so bad. I couldn't stand the smell, so I stayed inside in the hotel room most of the time. It was horrible actually, and I understand it's worse now. I have to move because mosquitoes. Okay, let's move back. But then I drove up to the sequoia forest, and that was very nice. That was very nice. And as soon as you know, I got out of the city, all the people were nice, and I could relate to those people. You know, it's because we belong to the same, how should I put it, culture. It's like we're the same kind, and it was just like going, when I bought some food, you know, got out of my car and I bought some food. It was just like here in Norway, and people were nice and friendly. Yeah, and seeing those big trees, by the way, the giant trees, that was awesome. I'll never forget that. That was awesome. Yeah, I remember actually I drove back home with a migraine. That was, I still remember that because it was so warm and so flat, totally flat, and the pain. I have some strong. I have some medicine against, you know, when you get like a very bad migraine. There are actually some medication you can take, but then it's not advisable or even legal to drive. So, and I was driving, so I couldn't. No, I just had to tolerate the pain and drive. But that was probably not, because that was a very bad migraine. I still remember it. I did everything. I drank extra water, and I massaged my neck. I took breaks, you know, and it didn't help. And I drove for I think 10 hours like that. It was horrible. so yeah, And I think actually I had to get back to Los Angeles because I had a meeting the following day in the morning, I believe. Or maybe it was because, no, I think I was actually going back home, which also was a bit, I did something very foolish. I almost ended up in, Russia or Japan. Okay, I'm sorry if I can't reply to all the comments now because I have to see where I'm going, yeah, because I figured I wanted to take a swim. So I stopped my car and somewhere in Malibu, and I went swimming. And the waves and the current was, that was very foolish, but I just did, and I got lifted up by one of those waves, and thrown around a bit. It was very embarrassing, but nobody saw because I was the only one swimming. Very foolish. But that's, yeah. But then of course, I didn't swim out very far. So, but I got thrown quite violently into, down in the sand, and I was so embarrassed. So I pretended like nothing happened, and I walked ashore again. So I had sand and salt in my hair on the airplane all the way back to Norway, because across the USA and back to Norway, because I didn't have time to. I was driving straight from the beach to the airport. So that was that. And while I was there, I was invited to a party. There's a Norwegian young man living there, and he's the worst human being on the planet. And he got rich fast while still young. And I was told he was an investor I should talk to. So he was sitting there in his house overlooking Los Angeles by a swimming pool, and trying to lecture me about the foolish people who are going to vote for Trump. No, was this before Trump? I can't remember. But he was lecturing me about how the working class were voting in a way he didn't approve of, and he said that they were stupid and they should vote to the left because that's better for them. I found his lack of, I found this lack of understanding and decency to be quite remarkable. And I understand that there are, maybe there are more people like that in the USA than in Norway. This was a Norwegian, So sitting there, filthy rich, because he had sold his company in some kind of financial bubble. I don't know. Just found it disgusting. What a disgusting human being. I think he's still there. Here's a big mushroom. If you remember, do you remember this mushroom? From the live stream a few days ago. It's much bigger now. That's what's so funny about mushrooms, you know, they grow quickly and then they collapse. Like that guy in the house overlooking LA trying to lecture me about what the working class should vote, how the working class should vote. Maybe he's not there anymore, maybe he just went bankrupt, maybe he was living off other people's money. I don't know, I don't care. I just found it disgusting. So, yeah, that was my travel, my trip to Los Angeles. Okay. Yeah. So, I am walking back to my house now. Rules for thee, but not me. Yeah. You know, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't find it very. I don't see the point in being dishonest or hiding the fact that, you know, if you have a lot of money, I don't think you should be ashamed. I have a lot of money. I have worked very hard for many years. And you know, after many years, it paid off. Started to pay off. So it's but it's what I can't really accept is this idea that rich people know better. You know, it's so arrogant. It's just, yeah, well, it makes me sick. Makes me sick. So it's, yeah, I'm sure that you agree on that part. And maybe also it's a little bit like I have this, you know, idea when people, some people say that if people tell you that they have a lot of money, that's because they got to the money in an, you know, quickly or easy. It was easy for them. I don't believe that, but I do believe that when you have people like that guy in the house overlooking LA, lecturing, well, they have this inflated ego. That's very often, and also when they buy flashy stuff, show off their wealth, that's very often a sign that they got to that wealth in an easy way, and it happened quickly. If you have been working for many years, or that is money, yeah, exactly. If you have been working very hard to earn those money, you probably won't be spending that money on things you don't need. That's my, or at least you won't spend it on things that only serve one purpose, and that's to show off your wealth. In Norway we call it, I think it's the same in England, in English, new money, or the new rich, you know. No, that's, no, maybe that means something else. Sorry, no. No, I'm not sure, but you know what I'm getting, I'm trying to say here. You know, it's easy money is, you know, it's Yeah, okay. um, was an ant on my finger. Okay. Oh, well, thank you. But now I am ending this live stream. Um, now it's time for breakfast, you know. So, yeah, thanks for joining. And yeah, either. Okay, I'll have to end this live stream now. Thanks for joining and